Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. If you were on here, get those likes up, tag anybody on this discussion, share it with someone that you think may find it interesting. It should be have a lot to unpack here. What's going on, Eugene Steele? What's going on, Kurt? Christ to God. Hair is flawless. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been rocking the fro the last few days. Sometimes, you just got to switch it up. You know what I mean? So let me pull up something real quick. For those of you guys who are getting on here, as you're coming in here, guys, hit that like button. Also, if you would like to show support to the show, do so. You can find me on Cash App and Venmo, Shay Sade. As I mentioned before, y'all, support your favorite content creators. We do our part to try to bring you guys good content, information that's informative, educational, etc. But this channel depends upon your support to keep this going. So again, if you like what this is about, show some support. Hit the Cash App, Venmo, share super chats. As always, I will be sure to acknowledge and read all super chats. So, my volume levels are low. Okay, let me, y'all say my volume levels are low. Okay, give me a second. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me now? Let me know if the volume is not sounding good. Just let me know real quick, y'all, in the comment section. Volume is good? Okay. Yeah, what is it about today where I feel like women, and Black women in particular, we just celebrate failure? What is it? How did we get to this point to where failure, at the very least, if it's not celebrated, it's excused? I see time and time again, and I wish it wasn't like this, but how many times am I seeing Black women go viral for acting a fool, just acting ashamed? And there's not like a pushback, there's not an uproar, there's not a collaboration of women working together being like, that's not us. We don't represent that. We don't rock with that. That's not who we are. That's not who we want to be. But lo and behold, let an actor come with a white woman, let a Black man with actor come with a white woman. Jamie Foxx, right? He just went viral not too long ago, being spotted with another white chick. A few days ago, it was what's his name? Bronny, LeBron James' son. That went viral because he's over there with a white chick. So anytime it has to do with somebody's dating preferences and where a black man chooses to lay his head down at night, every woman got something to say. It's viral. Everybody's talking about it. But when it has to do with our behavior in the way that we are being perceived, in the way that we're even treating ourselves, silence. Or at the very least, it's just not at the forefront of everybody's mind. And here's the thing about it. The reality is this whole bad B culture that a lot of people, I believe, want to excuse or want to act like it's normal or want to just normalize it. This is the very thing that is continuing to corrupt Black women. This is the very thing that is continuing to undermine the results, and ain't nobody talking about it. We're acting like it's not a big deal, but it's corrupting Black women. It's corrupting their children. It's corrupting their lives, and it's not cute. It's not, bad B culture is not cute, and it's annoying to me because this is the thing that gets celebrated. This is the stuff that people listen to, and even this is the thing. Even if you don't necessarily agree with it, you may still listen to the music. You may still support it. You know what I mean? You may still go to the concerts, but that's ruining not only the image of Black women, but for those who actually buy into that toxic culture, it's creating failed results. It's creating failure, and we should not celebrate failure or excuse failure. Failure needs to be called for what it is. So this weekend in particular, I saw a couple of things to me that were just, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm just like, all I could do was think about when the Messiah said wicked and perverse generation. I used to hear certain verses coming up as a girl, and I never really understood things like, okay, living among a wicked and perverse generation, living among the people that have a hard heart. And I didn't always understand what that meant, but I feel like more recently, I'm starting to see the level of corruption has gotten so deep and has gone so widespread that women are literally walking towards the road of perdition, walking on the road towards hell, and they don't even know it. They don't even recognize that they are destroying their lives actively. They themselves are doing it. It's not even necessarily somebody else. We can't blame it on racism. We can't blame it on the men. We can't blame it on the system. We can't blame it on colorism or darkism. It's us. Some of us are just so in our own sickness that we don't even know that we are active participants in our own demise. And I think it's these kinds of things, this kind of messaging, these kinds of ideas that if go unchecked, like I said, not only do they pervert women, they end up perverting the next generation. And this is what I'm seeing time and time again, and it's sickening. It's sickening. It's disrespectful to Black women. It's disrespectful to who we want to be. And anytime we go out there and we promote and we celebrate or we turn our heads away at this whole bad B culture being almost synonymous with Black women, at the end of the day, it's undermining our results. And you better not say you love Black women and not address this. You better not say you love Black women and then give them the out to act a fool and then say, well, that's just it's not that big of a deal. Or you're being misogynoir. Oh, well, how about the men? How about the men? This ain't about the men. This is about what you are doing. This is about what we are allowing. This is about the way that we are presenting ourselves. And we're thinking it's okay, and it's not. And we're thinking it's cute, and it's not. We're thinking it's not a big deal. And that's a lie. It is a big deal. People's lives are being destroyed because they are falling into this hellish, demonic Jezebel spirit that has women over around here acting like a fool, acting like they ain't got no sense, acting like they was raised in a trash can, thinking it's cute. And it's destroying their lives, and it's destroying the next generation. And if that happens, we can't blame anybody else but ourselves. We can't blame anybody else but ourselves. This is why I talk a lot about the things I've been struggling with, because we can all sit down here in the group and write on the board the different things Black men have done wrong, or write down all the different things men can do. We could all do that. We could do that. But he who's without fault cast the first stone, right? It's like, unless you are perfect, unless there are things in your life, there's nothing in your life that can be changed, you shouldn't even be focusing on what somebody else is doing wrong when you yourself have a whole bunch of different stuff in your own life that is out of order. And so it's a lot more fruitful, and it makes so much more sense to first focus on the things that you can do that I can do, the things that we can control our behaviors, versus go and shift blame to men as a way to avoid responsibility for the different things that we know we have done wrong. So like I said, this is why I talk to women about the things that women struggle with. Not as a way to try to overlook the things that men do, not as a way to act like that men don't have their own problems. They do. And like I said, men will work that out among the men. But the reality is there's enough BS and there's enough mess going on around women, especially Black women, that our hands should be full just trying to get ourselves together, period. So I recognize not everybody's going to understand this and not everybody's going to get it. Fine. But for those who do, listen. Like I said, this bad B culture is ruining women's lives. It's ruining young girls' lives, and it's perverting the next generation. Women are running towards the road of hell, running towards perdition, running towards devilish results, running towards chaos, running towards failure, and happy about it, and thinking it's okay, and it's not. So I have receipts, y'all. I have a few receipts because, I got to come with the receipts. What's going on, Kendra Scott? Thank you. I appreciate the love and the support, y'all. If you're on here, get those likes up. I see 85 on here. So I need to see some more likes. Also, if you like what this is about, support your favorite content creators, y'all. You can find me on Cash App or Venmo Shade. Like I said, I depend upon your support to get this out. Also, you already know how much garbage is out there. How many man-hating, misandrous, misogynist, people-hating channels out there. So if you like what this is about, also, I need your support to get the message out there. My goal is to hopefully grow so we can have more productive conversations, but I'm going to need your help to do that. So like I said, like, share, support, Cash App, Venmo Shade, all that kind of different stuff. So like I said, yeah, like button $3.99. I got receipts because as always, I gotta have some receipts and I gotta give y'all context of what's going on. But this was disturbing. This was completely disturbing. And I felt like, okay, we need to address this because we can turn the other way and we can act like it don't exist. But unfortunately, this is the kind of behavior that the next generation is seeing, whether or not we engage with it or not. This is what people are seeing. This is what's being promoted. This is what happens when you got white supremacists out there, different racist people out there coming to their conclusions as to how Black people are inferior, Black women are inferior, whatever. They're always looking at the worst common denominator. And unfortunately, it's usually the worst common denominator that goes viral, that gets the most attention, that gets the most play. So that's why we got to talk about it. Okay, so let me bring this on. Let me bring up some receipts. So y'all bear with me. If you don't, okay, and let me just say this, y'all. If you have a sensitive stomach and you don't want to see something that's going to upset you, you might want to leave. Because some of the stuff, to me, was very disturbing. Let me start with this. Let me see. Let me start with this. So, okay. Let's see if y'all can see it. So here we have the Bad B Convention. I posed a question a few days ago. Is the Bad B Convention better for the Black community than Black menswear? As I mentioned, if y'all missed the live, check it out. I did a live where I talked about how there was so much smoke when there was a Black male networking event where Black men were coming together, trying to network, entrepreneurs, trying to get different business collaborations or whatever. And then at the end of the networking event, they do that like flash mob, basically, where they'll just walk the street in their suits. Every time that happens, there's all this negative feedback. So I talked about that. I talked about how you have Black men who were actively trying to do the very thing that women complain that they don't do. Black men coming together to try to build industries or businesses or, build different collaborations, and they're shamed. Here we got the Bad B Convention. The Bad B Convention. Like, I'm going to just play it and then you can come to your own conclusions. Okay.
All right, so the ladies behind me. You are waiting to enter the building if you've already been selected by me. You're going to be interviewed on
catch me on that
before you go into the building. I'm going to leave it like this. If you don't want to do it, that's the business. Everybody else is walking to start the process.
Period. It's your bitch. That bitch savage.
So you sit behind me, you're ready to move it along in that process.
Big Nunu, not the little one. New York to ATL, we here, but it's Big Lex, we coming for you, baby. We're really taking over season 2. Yeah. Fat ass bitch. DMV, what's up? Don't get the fuck with you. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so
all right, so the ladies behind me, the ladies behind me. You are waiting to enter the building if you've already been pre-selected by me. You're going to be interviewed on the spot before you go into the building.
I'll be the lady.
I want to
Motherfucking playgirl, easy. Vote for me. Bitch, you bitch. That bitch savage.
If you're behind me, you're going to move it along in the process.
Big Noon, another little one. New York to ATL, we here. But Big Lex, we coming for you, baby. Mermaid taking over season 2. Yeah. Hey, bitch. DMB, what's up? Don't get
So I mean, really, y'all see what it is. I saw that and I was really trying to figure out the point. Like what's the overall goal of this? I mean, to me, at the end of the day, it's just feminism. It's just feminism in a different form. Feminism these days takes on all kinds of different forms. But you got a bad B convention, women over there competing to be the baddest B. Okay. What does that prove? Is it like who's the most ratchet? Is it who is the most hard to deal with? I just didn't get it. To me, it was really confusing and it was really disturbing. And I'm like, why are we celebrating failure? I'm sorry. When is being a bad B? I personally, I don't even like when women go around throwing that term around other women. I don't like that. I know ladies do it. Some, women do it. I'm not a fan of it. But I had a hard time understanding what is the benefit. Like, if y'all get it, please let me know. Like, if any of you guys understand the benefit of a bad B convention, please let me know. Because I saw that and I thought that was one of the most harmful, destructive things. Because like I said, what are we doing again? Celebrating bad behavior. What are bad beats associated with? When I think of a bad beat, I think of somebody who maybe she looked good, maybe she looked good, maybe she looked fake. I think of somebody with a bad attitude. I think of somebody that's likely not going to be in a stable relationship, knowing how to get together with a man, knowing how to collaborate with a man. This is, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I have bad definitions here, but when I think of a bad beat, I do not think of anything good. And we have a whole convention, women competing to try to be the baddest beat. Like, y'all, I was lost, I was confused, and I thought, this is horrible, this is bad, and I don't get it. But y'all, listen, if I'm missing something, y'all let me know in the comments. But this is what I'm saying, y'all. Here's a prime example of celebrating failure. Like I said, it's one thing for a person to do something or a person to struggle with a certain lifestyle and they acknowledge it. It's another thing for you to have bad results and then put it on a pedestal and act like it's normal. This is the kind of BS that I see us doing in the community. And even if there is not an agreement, sometimes it's just like, okay, I'm just going to look away and instead focus on what Black men are doing. And the problem is, if you turn away from what is going on with you or the issues that are impacting you or the women that you say that you're influencing, if you don't address those issues and you instead deflect and focus on what men are doing, the very thing you can't control, nothing is going to get done. So again, this is why I talk about the things that are impacting women, because these are the things that we can actually control, period. So I'm here to tell you that being a bad bee is not a flex. That is not a win. I don't care what nobody else tells you. You can sport it if you want to, but in my personal opinion, that is, again, celebrating bad results. Who can think of what positive words, what positive lifestyle is associated with being a bad bee? At best, maybe, you'll see those Instagram models, but y'all know what them Instagram models do behind closed doors. It's not necessarily glamorous. So that, y'all, like I said, this is just step one. Also, guys, if you're on here, get those likes up. I see 111 views, y'all. So hit the Cash App, y'all. I got one supporter. We got all these viewers, and I got one supporter. Hit the Cash App, Venmo, or Super Chat. Like I said, I will be sure to acknowledge all Super Chats. Support your favorite content creators. Okay, let me move on to the next one. Because like I said, I got a few receipts over here. that I need to share with y'all. So just give y'all some context as to why we're having this conversation. Okay, let me see over here. So this is another one that I've seen that I thought was even more, let me see. Okay. I'm like, this is so disturbing. This is so disturbing over here. Let me see if y'all can see it. Y'all brace yourselves. Okay, this is the most ratchet, disturbing thing I've seen in a bit. But again, this is the kind of behavior, unfortunately, that at the very least is not acknowledged for what it is and not addressed and not saying, hey, we should not come into agreement with this. We shouldn't just deflect or look the other way. I think especially if you're a woman that has a lot of influence, this kind of behavior needs to be called out and being like, hey, this is not helping you. This is not helping you. So let me play it. Let me play it real quick so y'all can get a sense of yet again some other ratchet behavior.
Y'all gotta get out. Y'all gotta get out.
Like, why? This is the most ratchet.
That's how you
I'm like, what in the... Okay, so
in the ambulance, you gotta hurt that ass in the ambulance. Got the cameras on. Ooh, it's a camera, baby.
So, okay, I don't want to have to play that again. Y'all get the sense. They're in. It looks like they're in a convenience store. Literally, if you look at the video, they're in the convenience store, and the owner's like, "Can you leave?" Then as they're leaving, they stop in the middle of the floor. As customers are coming in, looking at them hella confused, you see a white woman and a white man looking at them just like, I'm hella confused. That is a shame. That's yes, cringy. I see cringy, shame. That is, like I said, beyond a level of disgust. I'm lost for words. Let me just say that I am lost for words. But here's why this is important. Again, do you think there's going to be an uproar of Black women, female content creators, magazines, Black women-led or women-led, outlets addressing this behavior? Are they going to say, we are sick and tired of Black women being objectified and seen as sex toys? We are sick and tired of this. We are sick and tired of this being our perception. We have got to stop. We have got to let women know that this is not acceptable. This is not funny. This is not comical. This needs to be addressed. We need to do better. Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think there's going to be a public uproar? Or do you think the next thing that we're going to be focusing on is, who an NFL player sleeps with? We're going to be focused on Jamie Foxx's next date. That's what I saw trending. Jamie Foxx's, he was with a white girl. That's the topic. Why is this not creating more of an outrage? Everybody, there's probably not one person listening to me that looks at that and says that is okay. We all know that is ratchet. We all know that is bad. And yet still, unfortunately, when a lot of people think about Black women, that is the image that they have. That is the image that they have. And again, if this kind of behavior goes unchecked, or if people who have influence, who have, like I said, channels, ones who are speaking to women, if we turn the other direction and do not call this for what it is and say, this is devilish, this is evil, this is destructive, you are harming yourselves, you are treating yourself like a garbage can, you could be doing so much better. If we don't call it out for what it is, this is what the next generation is looking at as normal. This is what the next generation is saying, okay, well, our parents didn't think it was that bad, then I guess we can do it too. And this is the problem that I have. I think it's a lot of times we got fake outrage, or we have outrage for the wrong stuff. We're so consumed about who Black men sleep with at night And we're not consumed with our behavior. We're not consumed with the fact that there's so many things that we do, or there's so many things that are associated with us. So many things that just are passed off as normal that are harmful and destructive. Would you ever see two Chinese women doing that in a convenience store? Would you ever think to see that? And if you did, do you not think that the Chinese community would come together and shut it down quick, fast, and in a hurry? Would you ever expect to see two Indian women doing that in a convenience store? Two Japanese women? If you put any other group of women in this scenario, it would almost seem out of place. And if it did happen, their community would have a large response. Unfortunately, when Black women act a fool, we have been so trained to just look away and to just not say anything that it continues. And like I said, unfortunately, our children, the next generation, is watching. And this is unacceptable, period. This is unacceptable. Nobody should be making an excuse for this. If you want to twerk, that's fine. You don't need to be twerking almost butt naked in the middle of a convenience store for other people there to see. Those people could have had children coming in there. They could have had toddlers just going to try to get a candy bar. That's disrespectful. So like I said, if you want to do that on your own terms, on your own time, in the privacy of your own home, whatever. But not everybody needs to see you doing that. It's foolish. It's foolish. It's disrespectful. It's demeaning. It's damaging. It is going to create bad results for your life, period. And you cannot blame men. If you go around acting like that, if you go around treating yourself like garbage, you cannot blame men when your life reflects that. You cannot blame men when your life reflects that, which is garbage, when you walk around acting like trash, period. You can't blame other people. You have to look in the mirror and say, that is my fault. That is my fault. And again, this is why I say, so much of what I do here is I'm talking about the issues that actually impact women, because by the way, there are so many things that are impacting women that we shouldn't even have the time and the energy to focus on all the things that Dusties are doing, because in reality, half the time we're acting just as dusty, if not worse. Anyways, y'all, if you're on here, get those likes up. I see 144 views. Hit the like button. Y'all likes are free. Also, show some support to the show. Shout out to Alex Is with the $4.99 on the super sticker. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Y'all, again, show some love and support if you like what the show is about. Support your favorite content creators, y'all. Hit the like, hit the Cash App, hit the Venmo, Shay Sade. Also, super chats are open to show support. So I can keep the show going, y'all. I do depend upon your support to keep the show going and running. So I got some more receipts, and then y'all, let's see. Okay, so we're getting there, y'all. I wish that was the end of it. I wish that was the end. But this by far to me is the most disturbing of them all. Believe it or not, I got something worse. Let's see. Let's see if I can pull it up. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to bring this up. I'm trying to decide. Well, okay, let me just do this. I will do this, and then, yeah, I'll do that. We getting there, y'all. We are getting there. Okay. So this is another thing I've seen. Okay, let me play it.
If you catch me with your nigga, know I'm fucking his mouth. I'm a disrespectful bitch, might fucking your house. In the back of the cut, dog, eating you out. Might fuck him for a perk in a black and mouth. I'm a trifling bitch, love to fight with dick. Ass dirty foot ass. Oh, here's so gay. If you catch me with your nigga, know I'm fucking.
Yeah, okay. I mean, y'all get this, but here's where I want to hang out for a bit. If you look just at that 15-second clip, y'all, do you see that little baby girl right there in her hands? You see that little baby girl? That looked like she can't be older than 2 years old. She got some knockers and barrettes in her head. That's little baby girl. If y'all heard them lyrics, you know that nobody that young used to be hearing anything even remotely close to that. Carrying a baby, yes. Let me continue. I'm seeing strollers. I'm seeing a whole lot of women in there. Strollers and women. Strollers and women. Strollers and women. As these women are twerking, y'all, that is a stroller. That is a stroller. Again, a stroller. This is what these little kids are around. Remember what I said? This bad behavior is not just destroying the women. It's destroying the kids that are created in the midst of living like a bad bee. That is a stroller. What are these women doing in the middle of the street next to a stroller? I want to reiterate. Another stroller moving around. Okay, this right here. Y'all, this is where I lost it. I'm like, you guys, this is abuse. This is abuse. This is a young boy. Y'all, this is a young boy. He don't look like he's not interested in that. Literally, if you look at the music video, she starts twerking on this young boy. He probably can't be older than 8 years old. Twerking on this young elementary school K-5 boy. Who does that? That is abuse. That is abuse. And you know the other thing about it, I posted about this yesterday, right? I posted about this in the community tab. For those of you guys who saw it. And you know what the most interesting thing about it is, that post compared to all my other ones, that was one of the least interacted with. Here we have a young black boy being abused, y'all. The way I see it, that's sexual abuse. At the very least, child molestation. Let's just call it for what it is. Have that be a grown man rubbing his genitalia up against a young girl and pretend like that's not molestation. Oh, they would have that dude in jail. Easy, quick. This video would have been taken down. This is a young black boy who has a grown woman twerking on him. Twerking up against his male parts. Like, this is not a big deal. And I didn't see no smoke for this. This is disrespectful. How is this boy? And how is that young girl? You see that girl in the stroller back there? That's another girl in the stroller. You got a young girl over there, scantily dressed, with a stroller, looking at this woman twerking, has the nerve to twerk on this young, innocent boy. And then we wonder why boys, black boys in particular, have some of the worst scores in school, have a low reading level. We wonder why when we see the way that they're treated and nobody cares. Nobody cares about them. We look at this like it's normal. I posted this on my community tab and hardly nobody had nothing to say. I saw a few people post and share, but I had an overwhelming response when I was talking about divesting. An overwhelming response when we looked at, oh, look at who what's his name? LeBron James' son was dating. I get an overwhelming response when we're looking at who black men are sleeping with at night. When it's black boys and it's their future and it's the way that they're being treated, nobody cares. We don't have women saying, stop, this is disrespectful. Don't treat your sons like that. Don't treat your young boys like this. That is it's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. And so I saw that and I thought, why is there not a bigger outrage? Why is there not a bigger outrage? How is that boy going to be set up for success? How is that baby in that stroller going to be set up for success? How is that little toddler that she was wearing going to be set up for success? If they, at such a young age, are sexualized into a degenerate culture, how are they going to be set up for success? How? And what bothered me more than anything is the very fact that there is not a larger outrage for this. This should not be acceptable. This should be banned. If they want to twerk, on the street in their house. If they want to do what they want to do, whatever. As grown women. But kids should not be involved in that kind of stuff. Kids should not be involved. And I think at a certain point, women need to stand up and say, this is unacceptable. We have crossed the line. We should not allow our kids to be treated like this. We should not allow Black young boys to be treated like this. Like I said, if this was a Black young girl, I do think there'd be a different response. And that saddens me. That saddens me that if this was a grown man rubbing up against the genitalia of a little young girl, it would be molestation. But because it's the other way around, nobody bats their eye. It's like, oh yeah, that's bad, and then people move on. Has this video been reported? Has it been reported? Has anything been said? Has this been investigated? This is inappropriate, period. So I mean, I saw that, and I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say other than the fact that this, how many young boys does he represent? How many? Again, shout out to Miss Delta guy for the 20. I appreciate you. See, preach. I appreciate you. Again, shout out to MS Delta guy with the 20. I said, thanks for talking about this. Absolutely. This is unacceptable. I mean, I'm leaving this image up because I want you guys to get this in your brain that if there's not an outcry for an obvious case of child abuse, if not the very least molestation, if there's not a larger cry for that, then who else, like I said, who else does this represent? How many little boys does this represent? And we already saw young girls in there. Like I said, we saw her holding a toddler. She was holding a toddler. That girl couldn't have been younger than 2. Holding her in her arms as she's twerking and talking about all kind of lewd sexual acts. Around the children, I saw women. There's a woman with a stroller. I'm like, ugh. Like I said, I didn't really know what to say, honestly, when I saw that. And I honestly, I was surprised. I was surprised when I didn't see a larger uproar. Surprised, but then again, not surprised. And again, if this is the way that women are treating their sons, this is the way that we're treating our sons and daughters, period. And then, boys don't perform well at school. On top of the fact that we already know that there are schools and school systems that are not properly trained. They're not trained in how to deal with different cultures. They're not culturally acclimated. Some teachers are just downright racist, and so they'll already come in with preconceived notions. So it's like you already have a system that is set up in very many ways to not necessarily treat your kids the best. And then you combine that with bad, lascivious behavior that's happening at home, and then we're complaining about why men don't have better results. We're complaining about why we don't have better results. I had a conversation with my mother about this a few days ago. I mentioned before, she's a teacher. She's taught K all the way through 12. And I remember she was actively working with the Black Student Union, one of her schools. I actually was involved at that time. And I just remember the amount of hell she continued to get day in and day out working with those students. And it's sad to say, this is at the time we were at a school that was pretty diverse. There was a pretty large population, but there's all like Asians and a lot of whites, Indians. So it was mixed, but the amount of hell that she got from the parents, specifically of the Black Student Union, was it was telling. It was telling. And I can remember so many times, this was back when I was in high school, so many times she would have to sit down and have conversations and say, hey, we're not going to be twerking. No, this is a Black student history program we're preparing for. Because we would do little Black history programs. We would put on like different performances and talk about different things that Black people would make. Really positive stuff. But then you would have these kids want to come together and they would just want to twerk, or they would just want to freak dance like half the show. And she's like, we're not doing that. And she would get so much pushback. She would get pushback not only from the kids, but oftentimes even from the parents, from some of the moms who would say, oh, well, they should be able to dance whatever way they want. They should be able to wear, low cut shorts and tops and twerk in the middle of a high school like it's nothing. And like this was years ago. So she was having those issues then. And then she even told me recently how, she moved from there. She's, worked in all Black environments, worked in mixed environments, and then started working in more of a suburban environment, primarily Asian and white kids. And she said, in those few years of her working with primarily white and Asian kids, she's like, the amount of respect and honor and the amount of appreciation she has got from those parents, the parents of the white and Asian kids, compared to the years that she worked with Black students. She's like, I've gotten the respect the last 2-3 years and I have my entire career. My mom has been working almost 40 years. In the last 2-3 years of her working with primarily white and Asian kids with white and Asian parents, she has gotten more appreciation, gifts, respect, acknowledgement than she has in almost 40 years of teaching kids. This is what she told me out of her mouth. And we had these conversations about education and the different things that, or not even education, just the things that we value as a culture. And like I said, if you're a high school teacher, for example, and you were fighting with the parents of young girls about why they shouldn't be twerking with low cut shirts and basically Daisy Dukes almost at the age of 13. If these are the conversations that you're having with the parents of Black young girls, but then the parents of white girls, they're sending you letters, they're sending you gift cards, they're thanking you, they're saying, oh man, you've impacted my child so much. This is just her experience. But again, I'm saying this as an example to say that, again, this goes back to the things that we are taught to value, goes back to the things that we are taught to excuse. We are taught to say, oh, not a big deal, or the things that we are taught to look up to. And somehow bad B culture is seen as not that big of a deal. And I would say that if you being a bad B, quote unquote, makes you think like this is acceptable, then that's degeneracy. That is degeneracy. And I'm like, like I said, I look at this, and I'm saddened. I'm just like, how is there not more outrage, guys? How is there not more outrage? And at the end of the day, y'all, if we don't even value our kids enough or the next generation enough to keep them innocent, to not allow them to be abused, if we literally think that it's okay for Black women to go around and twerk wherever they want, using stupid excuses like, oh, well, our ancestors did that. If you want to use the excuse that your ancestors twerk, okay, let's just go with that argument. Have you also looked at their lifestyle? Have you looked at the family structure? Have you looked at the cultural norms? Have you looked at the expectations that women had? Have you looked at the family structure? The fact that these women were married. Some of them were sharing husbands. If you think, because women who use, oh, my ancestors were twerking, they were twerking in Africa. If you think that traditional African women were just going around from city to city, from town to town twerking, and they didn't have there was no expectations culturally of what they were to do. They didn't have husbands, they didn't have standards, they didn't have values. At that point, you are picking and choosing what you want to believe, and you're being incredibly disingenuous. Because best believe you did not have women, traditional African women at that, going around just twerking wherever, just freely around their kids, on top of their kids, at their neighbor, around their neighbor, just twerking all day. That's just all they just twerk all day. That's all they did. Our ancestors did it so we can do it too. Dumbest excuse I've ever heard. And it's not true. Those people who say that haven't spent an ounce of time actually looking at African history, looking at what African queens did. For all of you guys who want to call yourselves queen, how about coronation rites? Queens can't just go around doing whatever they want to do. They actually have different standards that they have to live by. They have rules and regulations that they actually have to abide by. They have a kingdom that they usually have to serve. Being a queen comes with discipline and responsibility. So like I said, for all you queens out there, a queen would never act like that. That would dishonor her crown. It would dishonor her throne. It would dishonor her people. She would never act like that. Act like a commoner. Act like someone with no sense, with no class, with no accountability. And this is the kind of stuff that we gloss over and just act like not a big deal. Or sometimes there's some people will make excuses for it and say, oh, well, it's their body, it's their choice. It's not their body and their choice if they're doing this on young kids. It's not. That is unacceptable. And I hope, like I said, I shared this on my community tab. I hope more people look at this and say this is unacceptable and that this is handled. This should not be allowed. Like I said, if she wants to twerk and them grown women want to twerk and do whatever, fine. They can do whatever they want to. They can do that in the privacy of their own home. But there does not need to be kids involved in this. Kids don't need to be involved in this. You cannot blame a black man for that. Also, let me just add that. This is not a black man's fault. That is a grown woman on a little boy. She chose to do that, period. A black man did not put a gun to her head and say, you go over there and twerk on that little boy. She chose to do that. Now, I am wondering, where are the parent? Where is the mother and the father of this boy? This is my first thought. Where are they? Are they involved in the music video? Are they not there? I'm like, because I'm looking at this and I'm just like, who is protecting that kid? So again, I needed to talk about this because I'm just like, not only is bad B culture ruining women, we're celebrating failure. We got women over here, all these babies, all these strollers. I hardly see men in the picture. I see mostly women twerking in the middle of the street with strollers, talking about lewd sexual acts, like just lewd, like just, I don't even really know how to say it other than just gutter sexual acts around young, innocent kids. And then women wonder why there's Dusties. Bad bees raise Dusties. Bad bees raise Dusties, period. Bad bees raise Dusties, and it ruins the Black community, period. Bad bees raise Dusties. So if you want to stop Dusties or dusty behavior, then at a certain point, women also have to take responsibility for the bad bee behavior that is leading to the reproduction of Dusties. Who thinks that this young boy right here is going to be set up for success? If at that young age, he is being sexualized by a woman who is openly engaged in prostitution based upon her own words and her own lyrics, who thinks that young boy is going to grow up to be a disciplined, well-balanced, thoughtful human being? Or do you think he's going to struggle? Do you think he's going to struggle to figure out what it means to be functional, what it means to be healthy, what it means to be moral? What is more likely? Bad bees raise Dusties. So again, if you want to reduce the possibility of you running into a Dusty, you have got to take responsibility for your own behavior, period. And the fact that there is more smoke for who LeBron James' son is dating and who Jamie Foxx is dating than for the way this young Black boy is being treated by a Black woman is disrespect. And it is devilish. And like I said, you're running towards the road of hell and you're laughing about it. And you think it's not a game. And you're ruining your lives and you're ruining the lives of your kids. And it's evil. It is evil. And somebody has to stand up and say, this is not right. This is not normal. This is not cute. You can't just turn the other way and act like it's not going to impact you, because this is the image. This is the image that people see when they think of Black women. This is it. And if Black women if they don't say this is wrong, I don't stand for this, this is evil, this needs to be stopped. If kids aren't protected, if the young boys aren't protected, if the young girls aren't protected, then Black girl magic, it's all a joke. Black female empowerment, it's all a joke. Divine femininity, it's all a mockery. We have become a mockery. Black women have become a mockery. And we can't blame anybody else for it than ourselves. We can't blame anybody else for it for themselves. Again, guys, if you're on here, get those likes up. I see Eugene Steele. It says, How well do Black people define our culture? How do we really value it? I can remember working in a Black high school, and at an assembly, Black students did not respect lift every voice. And see, I appreciate you using still. Some of the stuff has to be taught. Like you have to be taught to value your own history. Like for example, there's a reason that there is Chinese schools and there's Indian schools. And there's, even back when I was in high school, I had a lot of friends who were Mormons. So they would go to their normal school from like 8 to 3. And then they had a few hours and they went to Mormon school. There's Jewish school. Like if you look at other cultures who are culturally strong, they have their own schools. They recognize that, hey, in order for our children or next generation to do well, they still have to have an understanding of their history. They still have to have a sense of pride in who came before them. They need to understand their strengths and their weaknesses so they can do better. But if there's not a interest in history, there's not even an understanding. Half the Black folks over here just believe in conspiracies every 15 seconds. You disrespect Black men who are educated. You know what I mean? You disrespect people who try to build, who try to talk about facts. Like we honor the wrong things half the time. And so it's just like, again, prime example. You got people over here not even want to have basic respect for the things that their ancestors did. Then it's like, what are we even doing? How are we even surprised when there is no culture at that point? The culture has been broken down. Because you have to, in order for there to be culture, there has to be like community. There has to be a working together of different generations. And if that's breaking down, it's like, well, then what are you gatekeeping? What are you literally gatekeeping at that point? Oh my goodness. So like I said, it's a mess. It's a mess. And my bad. I got kicked out, y'all. Y'all, like it. I mean, it's a mess. I don't know how else to put it. It is an absolute mess. Hey, what's going on, Crimson Cure? What's going on? Yeah, like I said, always good to have you here. Love your content. Love what you're doing over on your channel. So, at the end of the day, again, I'm here to say that being a bad bee is not a flex. Being a bad bee will destroy you if you follow that trajectory. It's going to destroy you and it's going to destroy your kids, period. I don't know how else to put it. You can sit here and try to do the whole hot girl summer and treat yourself like you're a freaking sex doll, a live sex doll if you want to do that. But that's not going to lead to good results. It's not. And if you don't believe me, like I said, fine. All you got to do is look at your life, period. And if you're doing all that kind of different stuff, you got to be drunk half the time. You got to be in some substance. You got to always be in some relationship, even if it's toxic. You addicted to something. You addicted to food. You addicted to social media. You addicted to attention. You addicted to weeds. You addicted to whatever your drug of choice is. You can't sit there and lie to yourself and act like living like that is doing you well. It's not. It's absolutely not. And so, like I said, women, when we look away and we deflect and act like all the problems are the men and we don't take responsibility for what we ourselves are doing, nothing ever gets done. And as I've said it before, if this is what men have to choose from, what men have to choose from is these bad bees, these young women twerking on little boys, SYSBM. Let them leave. Let them go. Let them go find a woman. Let them go find other women in the diaspora, other Black women in the diaspora, or just other women, period, who will get on the program. If you have already told yourself that you are a bad bee, let SYSBM. Let them go. Let them go. You're not going to do anybody any good at that point. You're not even doing yourself good at that point. And don't even lie to yourself. You know it. Y'all, I don't even know. Like I said yesterday, the culture is artificial. So like I said, I mean that was a lot, y'all. For those of you who just kind of brought on here, I just brought up some different ratchet stuff that just some ratchet behavior that Black women were doing. And what made me upset again is that I seen more smoke for Black men's dating choices than Black women's bad behavior. I seen more smoke for Black men's dating choices than Black women's destructive behavior. That's a problem. And at a certain point, think about it. Even if you think about LeBron James' son. I can't think of his name right now, y'all. I'm doing blank. But if you think about his son, do we honestly think that school he went to cost $40,000? It was like $40,000 a year, if I'm not mistaken. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So already he's probably in a school that he's not having a lot of access to a whole lot of different Black women. Let's just be real. Let's just be honest. But if we want to see more Black women in those positions of power, or in those positions of prestige, or in those positions of elegance, whatever it may be, then there actually needs to be a conversation on how to get there. There needs to be a conversation about, people who actually get into that class, getting the resources to be able to afford a school that's $40,000 a year. That's a whole different conversation. How many Black women do you think were actually around him with the kind of lifestyle that he is? Let's just be honest. And if they were they even taught? Okay, Bronny, LeBron James Jr. Okay, bro, yeah. If they are they even taught? Are they even taught how to be wives and how to be good partners? Are they encouraged to be bad bees? Are they encouraged to be bad bees? Because like I said, I had a son. I wouldn't want my son to bring home a bad bee. I don't care if she was Black. I would not want my Black son to bring home a bad bee. I don't care if she was Black. So that's what I'm saying. We have to improve the quality if we want to improve the results. We have got to improve the quality if we want to improve the results. And unless that is dealt with, nothing is going to change. Period. Nothing is going to change. So it's like, ladies, you have a choice. It's like you have a choice. You get to decide whether or not you are going to continue with this whole, literally running down the road of perdition, this whole bad bee culture, this toxic culture that is giving a woman a reason to be disrespectful, dishonorable, rebellious, sinful, and quite frankly, demonic. You get to choose whether or not you're going to eat. That's the way that you want to live, because that's what's being celebrated, and that's what's popular, and that's what seems to be the trend. You have a choice of doing that, or you have a choice of walking away and being like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do differently. I would encourage you to step away from that lifestyle. I would encourage you really to seek a strong relationship with Most High, with God, because quite honestly, the level of darkness that is coming, you're going to need a connection with a higher power. You're going to need a connection with God, period. I would highly, highly encourage that. And quite frankly, some of y'all you're so corrupt that you need a spiritual healing. You completely need spiritual transformation. You need God at your core, because at the core you become so corrupt. Only somebody with a corrupted mindset and heart can twerk at a young boy and bring little kids around lewd sexual acts and not feel any kind of way about it. Only somebody whose soul has been so corrupted. Many of you guys need a spiritual awakening. Many of you guys, you're spiritually dead, which is why this whole divine femininity stuff is BS and crap, because it gives you a reason to hate men, and it gives you a reason to continue to be rebellious. You turn to tarot cards to look for spiritual readings, but you refuse to honor the ancestors that are alive today. You refuse to honor your mother. Some of you don't even talk to your father or don't even like your father. And you're over here praying to ancestors from generations ago. And you won't even talk to your parents. You won't even talk to your elders. It's foolishness. Spiritual stupidity. It's chasing after the wind. Nothing's going to come of it. It's that at a certain point, you have to recognize, I have become corrupt. What I'm doing is not helping me. I need to change. At a certain point, you have to make the decision for yourself and step away from toxicity and recognize that behavior that we saw, that behavior that we see just being promoted or just not even being checked, is not doing anybody any good. If anything, it's destructive and it's destroying the next generation. And if it is not addressed, it'll continue to bring more destruction. It's not good, y'all. Yeah, see, even people love God when it's convenient. Yeah, and that kind of stuff don't work. That stuff don't work. It doesn't. Anyways, guys, so like I said, that's what I got. If you like the show, hit the like button, y'all, for sure. Also show support to the show. I do appreciate you, MSL took. I think I actually saw. Let me see. I want to make sure. I think I actually did see one super chat way back there. I want to. Where'd you go? Where did you go? Okay. Anyways, like I said, guys, if you like what this is about, if you like what we're doing, be sure to support the show. Find me on Cash App or Venmo, Shay Charday. Also, super chats are open. And yeah, guys, I think that's what I got today. That was a lot. That was a lot of nastiness, ladies. Like I said, please take this seriously. Take your life seriously. I see media corrupting culture. Absolutely. That's why, like I said, we can all agree that media is corrupting culture. So I think some of the things that we can do to try at the very least to combat this is to promote those channels and to support those channels that are doing something good. So like I said, you support me, you support other people, Crimson Cure, shout out to her. She's doing some great stuff for her channel. You support people who are really trying to say, hey, we are not in agreement with this whole mainstream narrative. That's one of the ways that you can actively also make sure that we're not allowing the media to portray our image. But then, like I said, women at the end of the day, you have to really, really make a choice. And sometimes we can get in echo chambers and have other women excuse failure or have other women tell us it's okay when it's not. And failure should not be accepted. Like I said, many of us are just spiritually corrupt, spiritually bankrupt. We're rebellious. We fear authority. We hate men and we hate God. And it's destroying us. And at a certain point, like I said, to where we are getting now, it's like you can choose to go down this road, this bad bee culture. You can choose to go down that road and act like it's normal and act like that's the way to do, or you can turn around and be like, this is not serving me. I see that this is destructive and do better. And like I said, I would encourage every single woman to seek out a relationship with God, to seek out the relationship with the Most High. I would encourage every woman to do that because I think that's what's going to be needed. My relationship with Christ is the thing that grounds me every single day. And without it, I don't know what I would do. And with what's coming, you're going to need it. You're going to need that connection with the source, with the Messiah. You're going to need a connection with the Most High, or else good luck. Like he said, good luck. So that's what I got. That's what I got, you guys. That's what I got, ladies. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. But I think the evidence is pretty clear that bad bees ain't helping nobody. Also, you guys, if you did not like that video, if you thought what you saw was child abuse, please, okay, go check that video out. Handle it. I let him know that I thought it was child abuse, and I flagged it accordingly. But I just don't think that kind of behavior should go unchecked. I'm like, that young boy represents how many young Black boys, how many young kids in the Black community who are being treated like that, and nobody bats an eye. And if we don't speak up about it, then nobody else will. So that's what I got, y'all. That's what I got. I do appreciate you guys for stopping in. Like I said, hit the like button before you leave. Hit the super chat. Hit the Cash App. Venmo, Share Day. Stay tuned for other upcoming content, and we will talk later, y'all. Peace.